It's time for F1 Manager
Again,
Miami.
touchdown in Miami as F1 returns to the Magic City. We're in the state of year-round summer. The streets of Miami Gardens will come alive with the roar of racing, and the excitement is only just beginning. Spectacle is the name of the game here in Miami, with a stadium at the heart of this track. With long straights and S-bends, not unlike Suzuka's Sector 1, proper ERS management is sure to give drivers an edge towards victory. In the last round, Max Verstappen flew to victory, the Dutchman proving that he can be absolutely unstoppable when he's in such fine form. The weekend begins here.
Our heavily upgraded car showed strong pace in Baku. If you haven't watched it, make sure to check it out. Both drivers have got the upgrades, whereas Lewis had the suspension and George had the chassis. Now they have both. We are 1-2 in FP1, showing really strong pace. We're same in FP2, again 1-2, showing really strong pace. And that was on the hard compounder tyre versus softs. Okay, mediums and softs. But we're looking really good. We'll have quite a few upgrades as well for the next 2 races after this, as Lewis gets 97% on the setup and George has 96% on the setup. And we finish P1 and P2 in every single practice session. If you guys want to watch these episodes live, make sure to follow Megagamer8888 on Twitch to be able to watch these live, as we head into qualifying with both drivers very high on confidence.
Today, so it must be time for qualifying.
Drivers need to get into Q3 if they want to make the top half of the grid. With only 10 slots available, it's a fight nobody wants to lose.
Karun, if we could perhaps talk about Lewis for a moment. How do you think he's feeling?
They had an excellent performance in practice, setting a solid lap time. They must be feeling confident. But confidence doesn't necessarily mean success in Formula One.
What does today have in store? Only time will tell.
What was good about Baku is we were showing strong pace with worn engines. Now with both George and Lewis, we're going to keep the old ERS in the car, but we're going to take a new engine and gearbox with both drivers. And it's going to start raining in Q1, so we have to go out straight away as we start heading into the checkered flag down into turn 1. As the rain might even come halfway through the lap. You got to get this lap in, it's crucial. Whoever is last on track, if it starts raining, they'll be out. They'll be out. So hopefully a Ferrari or a Red Bull can get caught napping in this session to help us. As Lewis has gone purple in sector 1 out of, what's that, purple out of everyone? Yeah, Lewis gone purple, George gone green. Yeah, I think that's Lewis' fastest of all in the first sector. George is going to come up across the line, and about now, Piastri, Albon go a second quicker than Albon. Lewis 4 tenths quicker than George, and as it starts to rain, that's going to be us, P1 and P5. Out is Bottas, Tsunoda, Piastri, Hulkenberg and De Vries. No shocks there, apart from maybe Hulkenberg when his teammates up in P4. But yeah, that could also be unreflective, as it's Inters at the start of Q2, and it might even get dry at the end, but I don't think it'll be ready for a full dry run. DRS is definitely not enabled, I can tell you that now. DRS only comes on when it's 0.99 millimeters of water or below. Anyway, George is giving somebody, a Ferrari, a slipstream unfortunately, which will help them. They shouldn't do too much. As Lewis goes purple in sector 1, and George goes green, and Lewis loses purple, basically meaning George is towing somebody to the fastest lap. But oh well, it's not that deep. If we can still get P2, P3, as long as we're through, it's not Q3, we just have to make sure we don't make a mistake like that in Q3. I have pre-ordered F1 Manager 24, So you can head to Twitch, make a game at 8 on the release day of that, at the release time, and I'll be ready. I'll be ready to play.
Box and call the car.
Yeah, we'll probably spend a while doing the logo editor and all that stuff, which is new. We will be doing creator team career mode, of course. Norris, Alonso, Albon, Ricciardo and Zhou are currently out. But it gets dry later in the session, meaning we're going to have to go out on the used tyres in Q1 because I'm not using a used set because I reckon we can get through on a used set, especially with the pace we've been showing. Currently 8.5 seconds off pole though. But I believe pole was a dry time. It's probably an even faster dry time now. So we're now 8.9 off pole. The good thing about this career mode is I have always, in every single race, got both cars through to Q2. Anyway, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel if you do want to see more of the F1 Manager series, and turn on notifications as well for when F1 Manager 24 comes out, as Lewis gets a bit of traffic. That's not ideal. The traffic does let George Russell pass.
Taken the checkered flag.
So we've taken the checkered flag. Well, we haven't taken the checkered flag yet. Right, up to the line, here we go. Times 2 speed, what's it going to be? Perhaps times 1 speed, because I'm all over the place at the moment. Lewis goes P4, 10th and a bit off. George goes P1, 3/10 quicker than Lewis. That is both cars through into Q2. Alonso and Stroll are out, as well as Norris and Zhou. Into Q3, your top 10 are, well, everybody normally, apart from Daniel Ricciardo, who's had a mega lap, and Alex Albon as well, to be fair, as we decide to do 2 flying laps with no cooldown laps, because I think we'll have time for it as we start the first flying lap before the rain comes down. This is going to be similar to Q1, but the rain is scheduled a little further away than what it was in Q1. Left, through the right, through the left, so looks ridiculously high speed on times 2 speed. Oh. George is quicker than Lewis. Through the first sector. George's second sector is also quicker than Lewis. That's different because Lewis has been outpacing George all weekend. All race weekend up until this point. Where for now, George is quicker. And depending on when the rain arrives, that's George quicker than Lewis by 3/10. And Perez can be last man to cross the line. But this lap is going to be bad because Albon's gone quicker than us and our cars were heavier than everyone else's because we put too much fuel in. And that means as the track now gets damp, we've shot ourselves in the foot and we're going to be P4 and P6. That is not ideal. That is not ideal, to be honest. We can work from there. Like, if we can get Albon on lap 1, George can definitely stick with the lead fight and challenge for a podium. But Lewis has got to get past an Alpine, which are quite quick, and a Williams to fight for P4. So it's going to be a long race. It's going to be a long, tough old race. But if anyone can do it, it's us. I'm going to go for, well, the initial plan was a soft, medium, soft. But then I checked and we don't... We have 2 sets of mediums, so I feel like I'd rather use the mediums. As we see here, if we go using the mediums will allow us to push more on the tyres, which is what I plan to do. Just pitting a lot earlier. Lewis is going to be soft, medium, although I changed Lewis's strategy to a medium, soft. So it does say soft, medium, but I do change it to a medium, soft. And George is going for a soft, medium. Because hopefully splitting the strategies will do something helpful in this race.
57 laps await our competitors.
Anyway, let's
here in
get
Miami.
into the race.
Here we go with the Miami Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
And a slice out and away we go. Just making sure everything is okay. George really trying to get around the outside of Albon. Can't quite do it. Lewis loses a place to Magnussen. That's not ideal. That means he's going to have more work to do on lap 1. George into turn 11, making the place up to P3, and hopefully he can just keep with the leaders. Lewis with a dive on Magnussen on lap 6. Can't quite pull it off though, because Magnussen comes back at him. He's going to have to do a lunge into turn 1. And oh my days, that was a lunge and a half, but he's done it. He's done it. As Lewis is now going for Albon and Gasly at the same time. That is Lewis up to P4, and hopefully if he keeps that, he can just go and fight George Russell. Although the Alpine is going around the outside, he's going to have the inside line, going to pinch us. He's going to have the inside line to the next fast right. Lewis shouldn't really give him space, but he does, and now he's got a double inside, meaning Lewis has no chance, and Lewis then backs out of it. But into the final corner, Lewis has another chance going around the outside this time. No ERS to use, no fuel to use but tyres. Lewis can't make it. Again, Perez with a pit stop
into
issue.
the pits comes Perez. That tyre isn't tightened enough though.
That massively helps us in the fight for the podium, because I don't think George has the pace to get up to the top 2. He definitely has the pace to stay P3, as Hamilton goes all the way around the outside of Pierre, and that is job done. As on lap 16, 17 now, Max Verstappen pits, and it's George Russell's pit lap on lap 17, and Lewis has got in DRS range of George, and he's overtaken George. So Lewis's mediums have decided to come alive, as it's now George Russell's time to pit on the same lap as Charles Leclerc, meaning Lewis has got to push, and as his pit window opens, he's got to push and build a lead, as we now hold up Leclerc and kill some Ferrari mechanics in the pits. But oh well, we hold up Leclerc, as our pit stops are so slow this season, man. Give me some tips, because I don't know how to sort those out. 3.2, I genuinely don't understand how to sort that out. As now George down the inside of Ocon. That's a nice move. That's George up into P8. Currently got the fastest lap as well. As Norris comes into the pits and George now up to P7. George trying to find the space and clean air and get up to P6, which he does. And that's George up to P6. As it's time for Lewis to pit onto a set of mediums for the second time this race. Just making sure that I did confirm the stop, as Gasly now comes in, and Ocon and Ricciardo, meaning George is now P5. Perez sets fast lap, which isn't ideal for us, and not even half a sector later, Tsunoda sets the fastest lap. But if Perez is hunting us down, that's not good for our podium chances, as Lewis comes into the pit lane on lap 21, taking these next tyres probably to lap 42. Off go the old mediums, on go the new ones. 3.2 again. Pit stops are horrendous. Hopefully we can do better on the second round of pit stops. As Lewis is going to come out behind Stroll. Head of Stroll? Yeah, head of Stroll. Nice. As Russell on lap 22 overtakes Kevin Magnussen. And Leclerc sets fast lap. George defends from Magnussen. Now Lewis on lap 23 decides to overtake Magnussen, who I believe had a bit of damage there.
Here we are now, down
And
at turn 17.
we just have a replay of how Lewis got past K-Mag.
Closer and closer to that podium.
Yeah,
Now
go.
in 4th place.
As K-Mag pits. The fight between the two Mercedes for the podium is now on, and a little while later on the out lap, or the second lap, K-Mag has a bit of a spin. As now Lewis goes for a dive bomb on George Russell. It's crazy to see how far Lewis started back and they're now together. A bit like real life. Yeah, George is slow. Slower than Lewis anyway. At 28, George goes for a dive bomb into the final corner. Lewis can't really do much about it. DRS. Now Lewis is going to go for a dive into turn 1. That was a send and a half. He's made the move though, as George then comes back at him into turn 11 on lap 29. They're fighting, they're squabbling. Lewis is going to come around the outside. They've gone side by side through there. 2 laps in a row, and it's kind of scaring me out a little bit. As Lewis is now going into, well, third. As George makes the same move again into turn 11. This time he's not so far ahead. Going to have to send it through the hairpin this time. And that was the second lap they were side by side in there, not the first time. That was the second lap they were side by side. But this time George Russell gets DRS. And he's going to pull ahead of Lewis Hamilton into the final corner and make the place. But can Lewis get George back into turn 1? He's going to go for it, he's going to lunge it, he's going to send it. That's another move and a half. And that's George down to P4. And George is now out of DRS. George has lost the DRS to Lewis Hamilton. And on lap 35, Verstappen pits for a new set of mediums. And I changed Lewis Hamilton's. I put their defence on low. I'll just up Lewis's to neutral just in case anyone like Max comes up behind him. As George trucks on a new set of mediums. Again, 3.2. It's consistent, but consistently slow, which is not what you need. So hopefully we can have a better pit stop time than Lewis. As George comes out just in, just behind Lance Stroll, but that's fine. And George then overtakes Lance Stroll around the outside of the long right-hander, like Lewis did on Tsunoda this year. And George then defends into the final corner, as Lewis is now pitting this lap for a set of the soft compound. And he's pushed, he's got a decent gap, he'll come up quite a bit behind George, but there's no saying he can't beat him because he will have the soft compared to George's worn mediums. He'll have fresher,
just watch the white line exit.
Fresher and less worn tyres and softer tyres. As Lance Stroll comes in on the same lap as Lewis. Lewis hasn't got any worry about traffic. It's just get George Russell, who's currently 4 seconds up the road. And then Stroll sets the fastest lap.
We watch
And
Magnus
10 laps to go. The footage, the stream died for some reason.
hit the
But
wall.
as Kevin has some form of crash, that's quite bad. I swapped the cars just before that, and now there is a red flag. Meaning, unfortunately, everyone's back in the same world as us. But we can now fight for the win. Possibly, if we have the pace, or maybe even P2.
It's lights out, and away
I wish
we
there was a
go.
way to change how aggressive you are on restarts, but now we've got lots of fuel, lots of pace, we have to go full push, high overtake aggression as well. It's balls to the wall stuff today.
Just stay close to him.
As I've just realised, I've not put Lewis's fuel on high. Why has it taken me so long to realise? I've still not realised it. How have I not realised? Okay, I've realised it by now. This is worse, that's new fastest lap. And Lewis is going to try it. Down inside stream crashed again, so I just started recording via the Xbox recordings rather than Twitch. As Twitch decided to die. As that's us now up into P2 with Lewis. And he might even try and go for the double whammy and into P1. Go on Lewis, around the final corner. He's done it. All he needs to do is defend from Verstappen, which is easier said than done, which he does do. George then comes down the inside of the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, and then George does the exact same thing as Lewis, gets them both on the same lap, or tries to. It's a 1-2, or it's a short-lived 1-2 as George Russell gets overtaken by Max. But then he's going to fly down the inside of turn 11, his favourite move, it would seem, through this Grand Prix. And I'm going to try and get Lewis to conserve, so George can get the DRS, and it'll be easier for us to maintain this one too. But on the final lap, I've conserved too much of Lewis, to the point where they're now side by side into turn 11. George down the inside. George has already had a win this season. Lewis hasn't had a win this season, which is why I decided that George should let his teammate through so Lewis can win the Grand Prix. And Lewis comes across the line for the second time in 3 races, the third time in this whole career mode, second time this season. It's first place, but for the first time it is a 1-2 for Mercedes. Verstappen third, Perez fourth, Leclerc fifth, then Stroll,
Wow, what a
Gasly,
fantastic drive
I
from
think it was
Lewis
Alonso,
Hamilton.
Albon, Norris.
It was a truly excellent win, with everything working together for the team and driver.
And you'd love to see this. The whole team celebrating this magnificent result. The highly decorated record breaker from Stevenage once again taking to the podium.
It gets even better for the team, with both drivers scoring a podium finish this weekend.
And after a hot and sweaty Miami Grand Prix, I think this is as good a time as any to cool off. And as proceedings start to wind down here, what will Mercedes have made of this result, Karun?
I doubt they could be much happier. A win and a podium place. What a great way to round out the weekend.
And with that, our weekend in Miami now draws to a close.
Now the teams will be looking ahead to Imola, where the season progresses with the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Get ready for some fierce competition.
Gasly actually ended up with the fastest lap as Lewis overtakes George in the championship now. Leclerc overtaken by Perez. We scored 33 more points than Ferrari. We are here. We are him. Red Bull win the fastest pit stop and we are still last in the championship. Christ, that's not very good. Anyway, what needs to happen now is, as the inspections failed, we need to keep improving. We need to maintain this pace if we want any chance of a championship fight. The pace was good, don't get me wrong, but we weren't going to win it. We did get quite lucky with the red flag as we have new side pod designs. I wonder if we can get 22 days. Yeah, we're not going to get both on for Imola. We'll get one on for Imola as the chassis design is complete. But we're already manufacturing chassis because we had a new design come on for Baku. So we're going to have to now design the new chassis, meaning 13 days. We won't have any of those for Imola, or at least I don't think we will. I mean, I'll check during the weekend, but engineers, we'll put one engineer on the research for the new chassis, and here I'm doing the pit stop training schedule. But look, no matter what I do, everything just gets worse, apart from now car release is a bit quicker, which is actually kind of what we need to focus on. Anyway, targets, both cars guaranteed in Q3, both cars guaranteed in Q2, that's what I'm going to promise. Finishing position, I'm going to go 2 cars in top 6. This car is rapid, but I reckon we can get 2 cars in the top 8 for the next 5 Grand Prix, as the rear wing design is complete. So we're going to manufacture the new rear wing. We're going to have 4 of them. They'll be on for 20 days time. There will be one on for Imola. There will be, as the new factory is complete, meaning there's more engineering staff which we can spread out, which will increase build time, as we now are doing a new design to the rear wing, not research, design. And we're going to continue building on our pace, because I will start focusing quite a bit on research, but I'm also just trying to keep sure that the car will be there, as the rear wing is one of the most powerful upgrades in the game, along with underfloor. So we just keep designing. I'll leave that like that, and that will come on in 30 days time, as we got onto the new underfloor. Speaking of powerful upgrades, underfloor, 4 of them, it's going to take 13 days. We won't have any of them on Imola. Make sure to subscribe, follow Mega Gamer on Twitch, 8888, be there at 1 PM, and make sure to subscribe and like, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.